Yo, 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 what up, what up, what up, people? Welcome back to another edition of Mike on Sports. I am your host. I go by the name of Mike Gross, man. Big ups to that 501 and that 317 Little Rock, Indianapolis. We are in the building. Yes, sir. I'm back with another one. And I don't know what's going on, but it seems like this quarantine has made guys just talk big boy shit. And it gets no bigger than the heavyweight division. Anthony Joshua comes out and he addresses Deontay Wilder, Dillian White, and a potential matchup with Tyson Fury. I will bring you the audio of what he said, the quotes on what he said, and we're going to dive right into it. But without further ado, this is Mike on Sports. Yes, sir. Yo, yo, what up to my peeps out there, man? What up, what up, what up? Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm back with another one, and y'all know what it is. Anthony Joshua has made the news. Man, he's talking that cash money shit too, boy. He called Wilder a name that I would not repeat. I'm going to let him repeat it. He comes at Tyson Fury, comes at Dillian White. So I'm, without further ado, man, let's just go ahead and hop right into the audio, man. Let's get into it. No wasted time or anything like that. Anthony Joshua. Yes, sir.
And I say, okay, he's fought Spilker. He fought the big guy. What's his name? Early on in his career.
Brazil or no? That was
Brazil. Dwarf.
And right now, he was asked about Wilder's heavyweight reign, his 10 title defenses, and what he thought about those 10 title defenses. So let's see what he got to say.
Yeah.
So he's fought Spilker, Brazil, Dwarf first. He fought Bermane Stiverne twice. He's fought Ortiz twice. He's fought Fury twice, and I think he fought Chris Arreola or Molina.
Arreola, because Arreola beat Seth Mitchell that time, yeah.
So Arreola. So within those 10, right, I looked at it and I said, okay, cool. We have Tyson Fury twice, Ortiz twice. And they're the top 10.
Tyson Fury twice and Ortiz twice. Those are four very, very, very high leverage kind of fights, you know what I'm saying? The first Ortiz fight, Wilder was in trouble. The first Fury fight, it came down to a draw. Second Ortiz fight, Wilder was down on the scorecards, but was able to get Ortiz out of there with that right hand. And we all know what happened in the second Fury fight. So those are four tough, legitimate fights right there. Not saying Ortiz is a world beater, but he is a legitimate heavyweight fighter. Even though I done had some things to say about Ortiz in the past, when he's fighting lower level competition, it doesn't seem like he rises to that occasion. But anytime he fights Wilder, he just brings all that he has. But back to the audio.
Fighters in his 10 defenses and all of those, four challenges that he's had, which are top tier fighters, he struggled with. So I thought, yeah, of course, Fury's gonna come back. He come back off a long layoff, and I thought he would come back again and get it right. I know what it means to come so close and have it stripped away. So I just thought Tyson Fury would do exactly what he would do. Tactically wise, I could break that down, but in terms of how he went about it, I just believe that when Deontay Wilder gets to top tier level, it's going to be difficult for him to stay there due to the fact that he had so long bubbling around mediocre fights.
What did you think of the tactics, though? I mean,
that's harsh. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of harsh. You know what I'm saying? When he gets to world level, he's going to have a problem because he been fighting mediocre guys. I think it's the opposite. You know what I'm saying? I think with the Brazils and the Furies and the Ortiz of the world, I think all those are good learning lessons for like Deontay Wilder. I think that prepares him for the championship fights. Even though the second Fury fight didn't go the way that some of his fans wanted to go, I still think that those fights, that tough fight with Fury prepared him. You know what I'm saying? That second fight prepared him for the third fight. He has to come in with a different game plan. He can't just rely on that right hand. And I think Josh was being a little bit condescending when he says that it hasn't or it won't prepare him for the world level. Like Joshua is just on another completely different level than Deontay Wilder. Both guys have a loss. Whose loss is more impressive, if that's even a way to look at it? You know what I'm saying? Like, Joshua got dropped, 4 times in a fight by a guy who was a sizable, and I mean sizable, underdog in that fight. Fury, even though he was a underdog, people said if it went to the cards that Fury would win. And Fury did exactly what he said he was going to do. He got with Sugar Hill. He learned how to use his leverage and use his powers and use his mass, and he was able to go out there and get the job done. But they got a third fight, so we going to have to see. Just like Joshua had his chance to redeem himself, Wilder has a chance to redeem himself. But back to the audio.
I've never seen a fighter take the fight to Deontay Wilder like that, kind of bully the bully.
So that's it. So like Ruiz, short, stocky fighter, he likes to plant his feet and punch. So with that being said, you're not going to go walking into a brick wall. You're going to break it down, jabbing, then you throw a right hand. So with Deontay Wilder, he's a long-range fighter, so he normally puts people on their back foot and really leverages off that right hand, comes flying in. So what Tyson Fury seemed to have done is, sat on his back foot and edged forward ever so slightly to put Deontay Wilder on his back foot, where I think that Deontay Wilder struggled on his back foot to a sign.
Now, I like the way he broke down there, because even though the Ruiz fight in the second fight, people say it was a lackluster, boring fight, Joshua understood that the only way Ruiz was going to have a chance to win if Joshua stood and right inside the pocket with him and engaged with him. But he didn't do that. He chose to box, use his jab, move around the ring and throw that right hand after he double or triple up on the jab sometimes. And when it got in close, he grabbed, the referee broke him up and things like that. But when it comes to Wilder, I think the same could be said for Fury. Like, he understood that trying to rush right in wasn't a good thing. So like Joshua said, he stayed on his back foot and he inched forward until he was able to either get Wilder in a corner, get Wilder back to the ropes, or have enough real estate, or have enough less real estate where he didn't have to worry about that right hand coming with full force. So Joshua did a damn good job breaking down that little sequence of events. Damn, did I not push play? Fuck.
Slipping it, making it shoot over your head. Not only did he have the tactics to carry them out, is another thing. Different fight. So I think Tyson Fury analyzed the previous fight. Tyson Fury seemed to have done is, sat on his back foot and edged forward ever so slightly to put Deontay Wilder on his back foot, where I think that Deontay Wilder struggled on his back foot to a certain degree, which we've seen across different fights. So I think Tyson Fury analyzed.
I would have to disagree. I think Wilder does not struggle off his back foot. Like, when you see it, most of the time in fights, Wilder is on his back foot, inviting guys to come in, inviting guys to close the distance. Then he catch him with that right hand. So I think to say that Wilder struggles on his back foot, yeah, maybe he struggles on his back foot when a guy shows no respect for him and just come forward and not really being cautious of that right hand like Fury did in that second fight. But outside of that, when we seen Wilder fight on his back foot, he really done won every fight. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but here we go. We'll talk about it. Back to the audio.
after the previous fight, realized that if you take away his half decent jab and his good right hand, you know, he was slipping the right hands that was shooting over. He had more of a chance in beating Deontay Wilder. So his tactics were spot on. Not only did he have the tactics, to carry them out is another thing, and he managed to do it. And after all the hard work, it paid off. So, you know, we have 2 current heavyweight champions.
And that's for damn sure. Having the tactics, having the game plan is one thing. Being able to carry the game plan out the way that Fury did, no matter who you're a fan of, you got to be like, that's pretty impressive. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to sports, like you can appreciate, you know what I'm saying, even if a team you're rooting for or a fighter you're rooting for, if their opponent does something that's mind-boggling, like Fury getting a knockout was that night, because nobody was out here predicting a knockout. So with that being said, being able to execute the game plan like Fury was, you got to give kudos to him, and you got to take your hat off to Fury for being able to do that. But we ain't got to it yet. I know you guys, like, I thought Joshua said some shit about, we gonna get to it. We just hold your horses.
In Great Britain right now, so Wilder, it would be good if he stepped aside. Pulev, it would be good if he stepped aside, and we got this fight on because it's one that the world is screaming for.
Would you have fought Deontay Wilder like that if that DAZN deal had come together last year? Would that have been a tactic you would have employed?
It's easy for me to be like, yeah, that's it. I would have fought him exactly like that.
I'm glad he led off with that, because it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback, or, you know what I'm saying, Monday armchair quarterback. Oh yeah, I would have fought Deontay Wilder like that. Nah, man. Only one guy could fight Deontay Wilder like that. A 6'9" British gypsy. You know what I'm saying? Go by the name of Tyson Fury. He's the only guy that has that kind of mass, that has that kind of range, that has that kind of height above Wilder, because most time when Wilder getting in fights, he's the taller guy. You know what I'm saying? It's probably been like the Fury fight and maybe the Duopa fight, in the Brazil fight. Those are the only 3 fights that I can think of where Wilder wasn't the bigger or taller man in those fights. So I'm glad he stated like, yeah, of course I would have, you know what I'm saying, but he was being facetious, because Josh was, even though he has the mass, you know what I'm saying, he probably has a little size on Wilder, he doesn't have the height or range that a Fury has. Sorry about that burping, man. That Coca-Cola got me over here, nigga, all kind of bubbles in my stomach.
I'm gonna be real, of course. That's the way to take it. So when you look in a warrior's tool bag, okay, and I look in Deontay Wilder's tool bag of weapons, he has a right hand. So I say, how do we take that away from him? It's hard for a fighter to throw a powerful right hand moving backwards. So we need to put him on his back foot and be dominant in that sense. How do we take away the right hand when he's on his front foot? I need you to practice slipping it, making it shoot over your head, defending it with the lead hand. So these are tactics I would have done. And I thought once I take that main weapon away, it'll be a problem. I've never really seen him hurt anyone with an uppercut. I've never really seen him hurt anyone with a right hand to the body or with a left hook. So when I looked in the arsenal bag, I think that's the way: pressure and take away his main weapon, which is his right hand, and then you're 75% of the way to victory.
Now, one thing that I can say just by listening to that little bit of audio clip, boy, it sounds like Anthony Joshua was in that fucking gym. You know what I'm saying? The way he was saying, hey, you use your lead hand to defend off that right hand, kind of block it a little bit, you know what I'm saying, and try to keep Wilder on his back foot. It seems like he's definitely in the gym studying tape and getting better, man. I think that loss, you know what I'm saying, like we seen last year, that loss may be the best thing that ever happened to Anthony Joshua, man. He really done turned back and turned back into like a student of the game. I can really appreciate, you know what I'm saying, a guy who puts the work in. You know what I'm saying? Who's breaking down film, who's understanding what the game plan needs to be. Because understanding is half the battle. Putting it to work is the other half. So I can appreciate, you know what I'm saying, Anthony Joshua's breakdown and outlook of a potential fight with Deontay Wilder. But back to the audio.
So you mentioned it'd be nice if Wilder stepped aside. It'd be nice if Pulev stepped aside. Do you think that's realistic at this point, that you can get them to step?
Hell nah. Hell nah. I'm going to go ahead and save you the suspense. Hell no, it's not realistic. These guys want to be champion too. Pulev want to be a champion here. He already stepped aside with a fake injury. You know damn well Wilder ain't stepping aside for no step aside money or nothing like that. He going for it. Trying to get that victory. Trying to motherfucking redeem himself. So to step aside, you're not a true champion, or you don't want to be a true champion if you can take step aside money. That's just my opinion. Some guys are about securing that wealth for the family, and if that's the case, then that's the case. You know what I'm saying? Secure wealth for your family, but I think at the same time, you know what I'm saying, you gotta have a sense about you. You know what I'm saying? It's different if Wilder's like the injury is just too bad. I think the time slot allowed it is not enough time for me to come back, so I'll step aside and I'll let that fight happen. But that's not the case, and that's not what he's saying. So I just think that if you're a champion or you're going into a rematch and trying to get a belt, step aside money should be the last thing on your mind.
Aside so you can face Tyson Fury for the undisputed championship?
No, because I do think the championship means a lot to these boys. I respect that. I know what the championship means. So as much as I would like them to, I just highly doubt it, because I wouldn't do it. So yeah. Unfortunately, it won't happen. But if a miracle did come across and they both decided to, I don't need no warm-ups. I'm ready. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you never would have. I mean, Eddie Hearn kind of said this, but if he had ever gone to you and asked you to step aside, you would have told him, hell no. Yeah.
Look, I know it's easy for me to say that and stuff like that. And after my loss to Ruiz and stuff, you know, it's easy to be underestimated. But I'm so fired up and so passionate and hungry to claim the number one stake as the heavyweight champion of the world. I'm fighting to hold on to my 4 belts.
And that's what all champions are going to say. Hell no, get out of my face with that bullshit. I'm not stepping aside for nobody, especially the heavyweight division. People want one champion, one face, one name. We've been screaming that for the longest. We want that. We need that in the heavyweight division. So for Joshua, it's just like no. For Wilder, it's like no. For Pulev, is no. For Fury, is no. For Dillian White, is no. Those guys are not going to step aside for anything. Those guys want to be great, and they want to be the heavyweight champion of the world. You know what I'm saying? They want to be undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. So to ask any of those guys in any case or scenario to take step aside money, I don't think that is going to happen at all. All right, back to the audio.
I'm so fired up and so passionate and hungry to claim the number one stake as the heavyweight champion of the world. I'm fighting to hold on to my 4 belts, fighting governing bodies, fighting fighters, fighting against, you know, Wilder and Fury fans to say I'm willing to fight.
He said he's fighting against Wilder and Fury fans. His inbox getting lit up. Quit ducking, AJ. Fight Wilder, fight Fury. Fans, man, you gotta love them.
You know, to tell me to step aside, Eddie's right. I would have told him, hell no. No way. I've got to prove myself, because respect is such an honorable thing to carry, you know, for your family and for you as a person. So I want respect in this division.
You don't do a lot of trash talk on social media, AJ, but were you tempted after Wilder lost to kind of respond in the same way he responded when you lost your titles?
Dun, dun, dun. Now we're here. We are here. Before I give you what AJ said, let's go back and do a quick field trip in the past, you know what I'm saying, in the YouTube past, to see what Wilder said about AJ when he lost.
It's not over for Anthony. You know, just because you lose, it doesn't mean you're over. Even if he lose the rematch, which I feel strongly he will lose the rematch, because I don't think he know how he lost. You know, he got knocked down 4 times. He gave up, in my opinion. Reading the signs and the body language, he gave up. And the first sign was him spitting his mouthpiece out. That's a mechanism of trying to get more oxygen, more air, more time. And when he got up, the referee told him to come back. He went straight to the corner. He said, the referee said, no, there ain't no timeout. This ain't no break. Come. So he turned around. The referee said, come forward. He was unresponsive. Another sign, he started looking to his corner. That's another way of saying, I don't want to be here no more. Get me out of here. And then...
So pretty much Wilder said that he feels like that Joshua is not going to was not going to win the rematch. He also feels like that Joshua quit, was trying to find a way out, you know what I'm saying, and things like that in that fight. And he felt like Joshua didn't necessarily know how he lost that fight. But let's get back to the AJ audio. Let's
and I say,
hear what AJ has to say about Deontay Wilder. I mean, you get to the point where we left off right there. All right, let's go.
Oh yeah. I went into my drawer, I pulled out my long list of things to say. I've got a lot of things I can say about Wilder, but you don't knock a man when he's down. Also, and that was at the top of the list. So I have to stand by those principles. But for sure, I think me and Wilder, as I say, are cut from a different cloth. He's what we call, it begins with a B and ends with a H. I'm not like that. I'm more of a man. I don't really get on the internet talking crud. The only times you really...
Did he just call that man a bitch? What? Oh, man. I don't know, bruh. You can't just sit back. And I know, like, this Wilder and AJ beef go back long ways. Even when AJ told Wilder to know his place and he was going to slap him back down, you know what I'm saying? Like, the Oliver Twist, give me more, sir, I want more, and all this kind of shit. And Wilder telling AJ, do we squat when he pissed, pretty much calling the man a pussy and things like that. So this beef is, you know what I'm saying, not really nothing new, but for AJ to talk like this, you know what I'm saying, he's what we call a bitch, and I'm more of a man. God damn. Talking about fighting words. You might be off the ring fighting words, man. This might be a fight that no matter what has to happen. No matter if belts are on the line or not. No matter if Fury beat both these guys or not. I think this fight has to happen now, man. Coming out saying shit like that, he's more of a bitch. Come on, man. Can't label another grown man that unless you're ready to deal with those consequences that come behind that. I'm just being real with you. Where I'm from, if you label another grown man that, you're going to have to see that grown man. You're going to have to deal with that grown man. We're going to see how it falls out. But back to the audio, man. We got like 27 seconds left.
Me talk recklessly is against Dylan White and against Jarrell Miller. But other than that, I'm an ambassador of the sport. I'm trying to be clean. I'm trying to be represent my sponsorships, represent the zone properly. So I try to stay away from the typical stereotype of a heavyweight boxer. So it's difficult, but I have it in me to fire up and talk recklessly when needed.
At the end of the day, man, he's trying to be wholesome, but You know what I'm saying? I guess that hood shit came out of AJ a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He felt like that he had to say what he said. And, hey, man, I'm not the one to be out here to tell another grown man what to say or how to deal with another grown man. So it is what it is. But at the end of the day, he definitely gonna have to see Wilder for that comment that he made. When was I didn't get that audio, but when he was asked about Tyson Fury, he says, "I'm working towards beating Fury. I gotta look through Pulev. I'm gonna walk through Pulev. He ain't on my level. I'm walking through him. I want the boys at the top. I'm looking at Fury like I'm going to walk through him as well." Now look, Pulev is not on AJ's level. Pulev is not on anybody's level. Pulev is not the kind of fighter that is going to be able to beat any of the top heavyweights, from Dillian White, from Wilder, from Fury, from Ortiz, to AJ. He just in his mandatory position that he got by beating Bogdan, Dinu, and some other motherfuckers that really don't measure up. So when AJ says that that Pulev is not on the level, man, you gotta agree with him. Now, as far as walking through Fury, I do think AJ has a good chance of beating Fury. I think if Fury tries to do the way that he fought Wilder, I think AJ has a little bit of better inside fighting than Deontay Wilder does. So I think if Fury fights AJ like he does, and he fought Wilder the first Wilder fight, I think Fury has a better chance of styling and profiling and getting that victory. But for AJ to say that he's going to walk straight through him, you putting yourself up there, man, for a big. You talking big shit, bro. You ain't talking no small shit. To walk right through it, man, it means you plan on annihilating him. Can AJ annihilate Fury? I'm skeptical. I didn't think Fury could knock out Wilder. So anything is possible in the sport of boxing. Last thing we got from AJ before we get up out of here. He was asked about Dillian White. I know he's been chasing a world title shot. I offered him a shot last year. He refused it. Maybe he wants his hands on the WBC. Once I beat Fury, White can come and get this work as well. It'll be one-sided. Wait. So he ain't even respecting that Dillian White, the number one mandatory. He said, shit, once I beat Fury, man, we can make this motherfucker fight for undisputed. You know what I'm saying? He's saying, goddamn me, undisputed gonna supersede that little bullshit mandatory you got. So once I beat Fury, then you can come get your little belts, man. Then you come get your little WBC belt if you want it. We offered him last year, but I gotta say one thing about that offer, man. You can't offer a guy something that you know that they're not gonna take. You can't offer a guy, what, $3 or $4 million less than you offered Jarrell Miller, and when that guy is more accomplished than what Jarrell Miller was at that time. So you can't offer a guy a deal that you know that he's not going to actually be willing to take. With that being said, man, this has been another edition of Mike on Sports. I am your host. I go by the name of Mike Gross, man. Big ups to that 501 and that 317. Until next time, y'all know what it is. Yeah.